Before the video starts, I would like to shout out today's unofficial sponsor that isn't a sponsor, and that's a good friend of mine, Sly Tater. He's currently growing at a pretty rapid speed, and his videos are pretty good, and there are a lot more he has in mind. Like, he has some huge projects coming up. If you like my content, you'd probably like his. Please go subscribe. It would mean a lot to him and his channel. With that out of the way, let's get back to the video. Hey guys, Johnny Caesar here. I don't know if you were able to figure this out or not, judging by every single video I've ever made, but I kinda like video games. A lot. Like, a lot. I've played them for what feels like my entire life, and there are a few I could probably play forever, but a lot I can't. So I'm narrowing this video down to 10 games I could probably play forever if I was stuck on a deserted island for the rest of my life. Narrowing this down to 10 was pretty difficult, and there are a lot of different things to take into account with this, more than anything replayability. So without further ado, here are 10 games I could play forever, starting off with some honorable mentions. Garry's Mod is something I probably could play for my entire life, but I can't count it because other than the mods, it's basically just a sandbox Half-Life 2. Halo 3 is definitely one, but I won't talk about it because I feel like I somehow managed to shoehorn it into any gaming-related discussion I ever have. GTA 5 is definitely very replayable and something I could probably play forever if I felt like it, but unfortunately there are a lot of points where as a game I can't bring myself to enjoy it. Putting Minecraft on here would literally be outright cheating. Fallout New Vegas is probably number 11 on this list. And last but not least, Zelda Breath of the Wild is definitely one of the best games of the past 10 years, but I can't really say I enjoy the gameplay enough to put it on here, and the same would go for a game like Red Dead Redemption 2. Anyways, let's get into the list here. I'm starting this list off very questionably. First off, this is a level editor game where you can test other people's custom levels and also play them yourselves and make them yourselves, but on top of that, these are two games and I didn't pick one over the other. The Super Mario Maker series, as I just said, is currently up to 2 games. The first one released on the Wii U and 3DS in 2015, and its sequel, Super Mario Maker 2, released on the Switch in 2019. The game takes the idea of letting the player use the tools at their disposal to make Mario levels and have other people play them to see if they can finish them. Now I know what you're thinking, Johnny, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. Why would anyone ever take that seriously? And you know what, you piece of shit? Yeah, fair enough, you're actually right. But at the same time, that's kind of the beauty of how this game works so well and how it's so replayable. The custom levels in both games are so ludicrously over the top and overly stupid that you can't put the controller down. It's that fucking funny. The main reason this works as well as it does is because Nintendo gives the tools of custom levels to people who don't know the first thing about basic level design, and that's why it works. I have 100-something too many hours on Mario Maker 2, and most of that time is spent either making something stupid or playing something overtly stupid. Nothing in between. Both games, as far as replayability goes, are already a 10 out of 10 because everything is infinite and expansive and there are more levels being made by people every day. Not all of them are exactly what I'd call good, but yeah. I also keep saying that if we ever get Super Mario Maker 3, the option to make 3D levels would be pretty cool, and the idea of Mario Kart Maker is also something I wouldn't turn down. It's a good time waster is what it is, so play it if that's what you want to do. Okay, so I'm very unsure about this, considering that, like everybody watching this video, I literally just started playing Among Us, but I'll be double dog damned if I said I didn't absolutely fucking love this game. First off, it's extremely accessible. It's like $5 on Steam and free on mobile. Everyone I know, both in real life and over the internet, has it. Also, everyone loves it. Like, literally everyone. I can't say I blame them. Among Us is really good. Admittedly, I do have to be in a very specific mood to want to play it, but once I'm in that mood, oh my god, the game is great. For those of you who still don't know exactly what it is, basically picture Gmod Trouble in Terrorist Town, mix it with Knives Out and The Thing by John Carpenter. What's even funnier is the fact that this game was released in 2018 and only really gained popularity in the past month or so, completely stealing the spotlight from Fall Guys, and shortly after, the developers, Innersloth, straight up cancelled the sequel because this game is doing so well. This game just brings something out in me that really any other game doesn't have the power to do. Nothing quite like pretending I'm Saul Goodman trying to lawyer my friend out of getting shoehorned out. Among Us is an amazing party game, but also the place where you get to see the worst qualities of your fellow comrades. Awesome game, really fun, something I could maybe see myself playing for the rest of time. I honestly think that Valve is one of the most respectable gaming companies out there. Sure, they don't really make games anymore, and they did make Artifact, but I think they're very respectable for what they've done. That brings me to Left 4 Dead 2. It's so weird saying that Left 4 Dead was Valve's last original IP, but I can't complain too much. This game is awesome. I know that zombie shooters are a genre that's been very easily exploited and oversaturated in the past few years, but there have been some gems to come out of it, and Left 4 Dead 2 is definitely one of them. It's a game that has a lot of replay value because there's so much content, especially so much modded content, just an all-around great game. If there's anyone to make a good co-op zombie game fun besides Treyarch, it's Valve. It also helps that this game just got a huge new update and is currently like $2 on Steam, normally at $10. I was lucky because when I got my PC last year for the first time, I was already pretty familiar with this game. It was one of those games that I was able to run on the old potato PC, so I was able to be familiar with it just fine. Upon getting my PC, I only got more into it and put dozens of more hours into it, and it only became more enjoyable for me, and it's probably a game I could play forever, so there's that. I am so glad that Payday 2 is getting some random surge in popularity as of late. It's such a good game. It was released all the way back in 2013 as a sequel to Payday the Heist, and as the years have gone by, Overkill Studios has done a great job supporting it. The game is basically a co-op FPS based around bank heists. The more money you get from the heists, the more you can level up and put said money toward different things like weapons and masks and or costumes. Certain ones are harder than others, which increases difficulty and also pushes the player to want to be better and increase their skill by playing more. It's a game I could grind the shit out of for hours and hours on end, and you know why I know this? Because I have done that. I've been playing Payday 2 since 2016, and I'm so glad to see that it's still going strong 7 years after its initial release. I also should mention that Payday 3 is happening, but we don't really know anything about it right now. I'm here for it though. I've played both Payday games, and I can specifically say that they're both great. I enjoy them, and Payday 2 is a game I can play forever. Okay, so this is probably going to be the odd one out on the list, the one that everybody asks why it's even on, because not so many people have heard of it, but that's totally fine. Speedrunners is an indie race runner game released in 2013, initially for PC, but eventually came to consoles later on down the line. I was gifted this game by a friend, and we played it for a really long time. There are a lot of different mechanics that come into play in what's essentially just a flash game. It's incredibly competitive as well. The mechanics work, the gameplay is fun, it's pretty cheap. Grab a couple friends and play it. It's a great game. Call me crazy, but I played every single Metal Gear game except for Metal Gear Solid 4, and I think that Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is probably my favorite one. Whoever came up with the concept of combining Metal Gear with Ninja Gaiden deserves every single award that's ever existed. I'm so pissed that Metal Gear Rising 2 never happened. This game works so well. The combat is amazing, the movement and boss fights are so seamless and flamboyant. This is a game that I really want to go more into detail on, and I might make a video on it someday. Even the story is good. The story of Raiden in this game works really well, and the gameplay and combat only looks to enhance that experience. If you're a fan of games like Sekiro, Nioh, or Ninja Gaiden, I highly recommend this game if you haven't already played it. Easily my favorite Metal Gear game, and I'm still mad about the sequel not existing. Once again, the idea of a ninja Metal Gear game with tricky combat and insanely good boss fights sound ridiculous, and then you play it and you can't put it down. I've long known of the Persona series and what it is, but I hadn't really played any of them until I picked up Persona 5 late last year, and it's a great game. One of my top 3 games for the PS4, and also Persona 4 Golden came to Steam a while ago, so that's nice. I still haven't played it yet, but I will when I have the money. But for the most part, I really like this game, and I think it gave me a great introduction to the Persona series in general. A lot of JRPGs nowadays fail to capture my interest because I find myself disinterested in their boring gameplay mechanics and empty turn-based combat, but this game stuck with me. I'll admit, the game does have its issues. It is pretty linear and restrictive, especially for a JRPG, and it does actually start off really slow, I think, but for the most part, I think it's really good and excusable. It has its upsides to it, and it's a game I highly recommend. It's probably top 3 PS4 games for me, as I said, and I'll definitely be checking out this series more when I get the chance. I don't think it's super unpopular for me to say that Shadow of War is one of the most overlooked hack-and-slash medieval RPGs of the past 10 years. You could attribute that to its poor launch or lack of people that cared, but no matter what it was, I feel like that game deserved a lot more attention and still does. It's a fantastic game and I've been trying to expose it to about as many people as possible since I first played it. I actually did make an entire full-length review on this game way back earlier in the year, and that review has an entire development story of its own, not unlike Duke Nukem Forever. You need to play this game. I'm being completely serious. It is one of the coolest games I have ever seen. The Nemesis system, where you can recruit NPCs and build them up within your own ranks, is one of the coolest additions to this type of game I think I've ever seen. The combat and all the different mechanics that go into it, as well as the gameplay itself, is impeccable. The story isn't perfect, but it's definitely serviceable, and it's worth checking out as a game. This game's just great. Buy it. It's not even full price most of the time, and it goes on sale pretty frequently from what I see. Just buy it. The Borderlands series is a strange type of game for me. I normally don't like looter shooters, they just personally aren't for me, but Borderlands works around that in a lot of different ways to make me enjoy them. First of all, the humor. Borderlands 2 is naturally funny and they balance out the humor with genuinely serious moments really well. What's that? A compelling story? Yeah, I'm down. The gameplay for the most part is also really good. It's really over the top, which is exactly what a Borderlands game should be, but it's also very replayable at the same time. I don't know how many times I started up a new playthrough of this game just because of how refreshing the gameplay is alone. I just enjoy the entire series in general, and yes, that does mean Borderlands 3 and the pre-sequel. Borderlands 2 was always my favorite though. It was always the best in my opinion. It worked the best and it was definitely the most fun. I've beaten the game numerous times and there are still things that I literally don't know about it. There's a lot more to it than initially meets the eye. Amazing game, definitely worth checking out if you haven't already done so. Titanfall 2. Where do I start? I do consider this to be one of my favorite games of all time, and I probably do suck its dick way too much, but that's with good reason. First off, it was such a pleasant surprise at release. Nobody expected Titanfall 2 to be this good at all. It came out and didn't just shatter expectations, but it threw it on the ground and then stomped them on the head. The gameplay is fucking solid as can be and harnesses the power of the game's advanced mobility to its fullest potential. The multiplayer, while unpopulated, is still spectacular. Whenever you get into a match, you're basically guaranteed a good time. The campaign and its level design is fantastic too. Effect and Cause is probably my favorite campaign mission from any first-person shooter I've ever played, and the training course is something I've literally spent hours in. It's a game that I've collectively put hundreds of hours into, and I don't regret a single one. Respawn Entertainment proves with this game why they are one of the best AAA developers currently out there, even under the roof of a publisher like EA. It's definitely worth checking out, especially considering that it's not at all the AAA price, and it goes on sale like every other week. So yeah, buy it. Sorry it took me so long to get another upload out. I won't really say too much, but I've been dealing with a little inconvenience I like to call depression and anxiety. I am okay though, and I intend to get more stuff out soon. I'm still working on the Life is Strange review. It should be up within the next couple weeks. I am a bit low on ideas right now though, so if anybody has any ideas for content or videos for me to make, please do leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear any and all suggestions you guys have, so long as it isn't a Halo Reach review. Anyways, all jokes aside, my name is Johnny Seizure. I do have more videos coming up, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.